So you're saying then that the cost of the tools, as it were, as in LUBExpert being hardware and software, that actually it's relatively low cost by comparison to the cost of things that could go wrong without it, and therefore one's tempted to say it might, maybe is actually quite cheap.
Well, cheap is the word that you were avoiding to say, and I do the same thing. The cost, the evaluation of investment always needs to be put in comparison with what it stops, what it prevents. So in our cases, and you know it, I'm sure much better than I do, that proper lubrication technology is a one-time investment which is less than 1/10 of one problem you resolve. So it's say cheap, but I think more reasonable. It sounds good.
So it sounds more like a very low annual premium in terms of insurance cost. It's a very small price to pay to insure against loss.
Absolutely. That's a very good comparison. How comes you always end up with cars? That's really fantastic.
It's not just cars that have insurance, mate. So if you've invested in this hardware and software, what's next? What goes next with that then, in your experience? Because I know where I think I would go with it, but where do you see it going?
So if I count to 3 and we say it together, I'm absolutely sure we will say the same thing. So 1, 2, 3.
Training.
Absolutely. So we all know so many people, and unfortunately more and more they're trying to wish the problems away just by using something which is plug and play. Just plug it here and go away, and it will all work fine. No, it will not work fine. That kind of solution exists only in dreams. It's a silver bullet, or call it any way you want. The team needs to go through the training, not just to know how to push the button, but to know how to sustain the change, how to sustain the program.
And yeah, absolutely. There's no such thing as an instant cure, as many people would wish. And that is often a problem we all run up against, that, well, we've had the training, so good, we're good to go. But as you say, there's fine tuning of the program, tweaking, adjustments that need to be made. And then these things often don't work. And we see sometimes these tools end up as what might be termed shelfware, gathering dust at the back of the cupboard, sitting there. What would be different here? What can we do to prevent that situation?
Well, first of all, the proper training means not only about pushing the buttons. It's about how to sustain the program, how to build a strategy, how to steer it, and how to keep it. When I say keep it, that means how to keep the management support. That means you have to be able to generate results and to be able to report them properly. But if things go south, that's why we are here. People like us, you, that to remove the roadblocks and, if necessary, to support even in later stages.
So when we talk about LUBExpert, the instrument, the software, how do you provide that level of support then?
Well, talking about LUBExpert, we can talk about several hours, but let's go from the beginning, from the interface between machine and technology, and that's the sensor. So most people who deal with lubrication don't like to go deep into it, but it's quite important because it's a contact with asset. High quality calibrated sensor is very important. All that happens after that moment depends on quality of collected data. So if your data is garbage, that's exactly what your decision is going to be. What you see with any technology, and that works for absolutely any technology, it's not actually what happens, it's what your sensor feels. So if you're talking about vibration, oil analysis, or whatever, if what your sensor feels, that's what you see. And once you get the correct data, then number 3 becomes quite important. And that's, when I say number 3, I'm talking about 3rd generation of LUBExpert and the brain inside, because it's getting more and more clever.
Just how clever?
Well, clever enough for me to be very confident telling the lube technician, please follow the instructions.
Right, okay. Because sometimes blindly following instructions isn't always the best. We sometimes need some ability to decide when maybe those instructions need to be reviewed. So you'll need to convince me on this one. Just blindly follow the instructions.
Well, I saw this coming. I saw this coming. But you know what does that mean? That means few more ice creams and fewer coffees, right?
Totally, yeah.
Okay, so let's get the supplies and meet here next Monday to continue with this.
That's a deal.
Okay, see you soon, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.